Hey, I'm the Wolfman, and I'm here today in beautiful Algonquin Provincial Park in Ontario, Canada. Now, this provincial park is one of Canada's largest and oldest. It was established in 1893 basically as a game preserve to make sure that they could try to undo all of the logging damage that was done here for a couple of hundred years by loggers. The park itself is 700,000 hectares. This is a really big park. Now, there are 14 individual hiking trails that can be accessed from what we call the Highway 60 corridor, and that's the major highway that runs from east to west along the park. Today we're going to go on the 1.5 kilometer hike, which is the Spruce Bog Boardwalk. This is Highway 60 along here. This is the parking lot where we are. We're going to take the boardwalk along here. We're going to be introduced on this hike to a whole bunch of the different miniature ecosystems which exist within Algonquin Park, and that includes the Spruce Bog system. It's a great place to visit. Come on and join me. So this is a bog at its finest. If you look around me, for almost a kilometer in each direction is bog. Now what that actually means is over time the peat moss here has turned the soil, that's a little tiny bit of soil that's left, and made it really acidic. So all the water here is very acidic. That also means when it's highly acidic that there isn't going to be a whole lot of oxygen. So anything that ends up in this bog, as I'm sure some of you have heard of the English bogman, which is an individual which has been killed in a bog, doesn't have any form or sort of decay in him when he ends up here. And it's just beautiful. Now there's only a few types of small trees and shrubs and grasses that will grow in this area, but it's really something else to see. These bogs, as well as being a miracle of nature to behold, are also very important as a wetland. They provide homes for all kinds of species of fish and wildlife, including bugs like dragonflies, which are one of my favorite, and all sorts of other things. Moose will come here at different times of the year, eating some of the plants and things like that. You'll find loons will often live here because they're going to go out and eat some of the fish and things that they find in these bogs. Plus, from a humanistic point of view, when you look out at these bogs, they're changing all the carbon dioxide that we put in from things like our motor vehicles and lawnmowers, and they're changing it back into oxygen. So it's extremely important that these wetlands and wildlife and everything else remain intact in this area. This shrub growing in the sphagnum moss is also called Labrador Tea. You can actually use this to make tea, but it's not really that good. Whatever the shortcomings of these are for tea leaves, the leaves are actually kind of special. You're going to notice that the edges are curled under and that the lower surface is covered with a thick layer of either white or orange down. If we were to visit a desert, like back when I was in Arizona, I noticed that a lot of the plants growing in the dry desert soil had the same features. It's believed that these leaves curl around the edges and the downy layer will actually pick up and collect moisture, which is completely different than a lot of the trees which have the leaves collecting moisture from the top. So all around me here, we can see the spindly black spruce trees. They're absolutely everywhere. It kind of almost would look like we're in forest when we're still in fact in the bog. If you take a look underneath all of these trees all around, there's actually a lot of dampness, a lot of moisture. There's a bunch of the Labrador Tea kicking around. I can see it growing all over the place here. So just because you're in the woods and it looks like you're actually in a forest doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is. I hope you've enjoyed this journey along the Spruce Bog with me. Now, this is a really unique trail in that not only is it taking you through all kinds of beautiful biodiversity, but it's also wheelchair accessible. Almost the entire 1.9 kilometers of this trip are boardwalk like you have behind me. Other than that, there's a little bit of stone-packed trail here and there. That makes this a really unique trail that you can take pretty much anybody on, whether it be young children or the elderly, and allow them to experience this kind of beauty and wilderness. I'm the Wolfman. Please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.